This Scene Appreciation Day is an excerpt from the full review of RWBY Volume 3 on this channel. Then they all hide behind a rock, because that matters, except for Pyrrha,
What do we do?
who is sticking her big dumb red head out for the world to see. This is the most explicit clue we get that she is in fact suicidal. Pyrrha's arc is one of the best in the show. I mispronounced only. Silly me. Where was I? Oh, right. Pyrrha's arc was the only one in the show, and it was coincidentally pretty good, mostly because she's dead, so they can't pussy out of it like they did with Weiss. So let's get examining this magnificent suicide. The first thing you might notice about Pyrrha is how her name sort of sounds like the word Pyrrhic.
I remember one person, I think in Volume 1, pointed out, hey, has anybody ever heard of Pyrrhic victory?
Yeah.
Unless you weren't that one person. Then I guess the first thing you might notice about Pyrrha is how she swooned over Jean. Boy, her relationship with Jean sure was a roller coaster of emotions. In the first volume, it wasn't canon.
Pyrrha is incredibly nice. Our belief is that Pyrrha acts this way towards everybody.
But then it was. But the only reason there was any tension in it was because of an ad-lib during casting that created a love triangle that wasn't a love triangle.
And the scene that we improv'd was, it was lunch, she was trying to eat. Jean was just bugging her. That was the scene. I decided to go, so tell me about this Weiss girl. And in that improv session, we were like, okay, so Jean needs to be infatuated with Weiss.
That's when we came up with the Snow Angel line and the whole infatuation with Weiss.
But it finally came to a head in this scene that was super melodramatic.
When you're placed on a pedestal like that for so long, you become separated from the people that put you there in the first place.
But in hindsight, much less stupid than I had initially thought because they actually delivered on what I didn't think they had the balls for.
Thanks to you, I've made friendships that will last a lifetime.
Pyrrha's life is more or less defined by the things that Sophocles loved banging on about. No, not her own mother, that's Yang. But the commentary did seem to confuse Yang with Pyrrha, so maybe the connection is a little more intentional than we thought it was. But I'm actually talking about honesty, self-harm, fate, love, and death. Because Pyrrha was placed on a pedestal because she had an unfair advantage over everyone else, in the form of her magnet powers.
I've been blessed with incredible talents and opportunities.
An advantage that she kept secret from everyone else.
Or perhaps we could just keep it our little secret.
So she only has herself to blame for being unapproachable.
You become separated from the people that put you there in the first place.
She thought being with Jean was what she needed. Pyrrha thought that working towards her destiny would free her from the false limelight that she didn't earn. But again, she gets handed a power on a silver plate. But since it's the only thing she knows, she accepts it.
Which is why we would like to...
I'll do it.
She can't stop herself from being unhappy.
I don't know what to do.
It's time to stop!
Either because she was told that was the only way to be when she was younger.
When I think of destiny, I don't think of a predetermined fate you can't escape, but rather some sort of final goal.
Or that it's just her fate. It works in the context that Pyrrha was once told the wrong definition of destiny and believed it. Kissing Jean and then choosing to fight Cinder with no reasonable hope of winning was her only hope of victory over her fate. Consider the possible outcomes. She kills Cinder and gets the Maiden's power, thus fulfilling her destiny. Absorbing Amber's soul fundamentally changes her, so she escapes her self-loathing.
And there's no telling if you will be the same person if it does.
Or it could leave her the same, so she could go back to Jean gaining a little happiness. She could get rescued.
Find Glinda, Ironwood, Crow. Bring them here right away.
Meaning that she lost and escaped the stigma of being the invincible girl.
Ah, the invincible girl.
Thus escaping her fate and self-loathing. Or she dies, escaping her fate and self-loathing. Pyrrha didn't feel like she had control over her life.
I've always felt as though I was destined to become a huntress, and it's become increasingly clear to me that my feelings were right.
And this was the only way of proving it, one way or the other. I mean, intentional or not, she's dead. They can't go back on this. Pyrrha's arc was tragic and beautiful and riddled with melodrama. And to tie it up in an even nicer little bow, Cinder fucking evaporates. Meaning the power that haunted her, that she pursued and died for, wasn't really worth shit in the grand scheme of things. And she died before getting to know that. But hey, some people just can't win.